So with forgiveness and redemption, they are forgiven by the virtue of the fact that Jesus died to redeem their sin. He pays the moral debt. Jesus takes up your tab, right? This is the power that kept them in the dark. They were sinners, helpless to stop sinning, unable to atone for the sins they did. They were subject to Satan's temptations and cursed by the law to be condemned and punished. So just remember this. When I say they, we speak in English, right? So they were, this is the power that kept them in the dark, right? So they were in the dark, we were helpless to stop sinning. Satan keep tempting us. They were subject to Satan's temptation and cursed by the law to be condemned and punished. Jesus lived a perfect life, resisting every attack by Satan, and offered his perfect life on the cross to satisfy the demands for restitution by the law. With Satan defeated and the law satisfied, sinners were released into the custody of Christ. This custody, this group, is the kingdom or the church. So let me read that again. Jesus lived a perfect life. This is the gospel. And resisted every attack by Satan. Then he offered that perfect life on the cross to satisfy the demands for the restitution by the law. And this is how the law comes in play, right? So a classic example is you're driving along the road and you're driving at 100. Now there's no signs, so you just driving, right? And you're not aware that um well you're just driving. You're accustomed driving at 100 and you uh now the speed limit is 80, right? But you're accustomed driving at 100. Now they put up a sign that the speed limit is 80, right? Actually, a live example is when you go over the flyover to go by Mount Hope there. The speed limit for that area, I think, is 60. Now, most people, when they come down that stretch, I know you're not driving 60. And sometimes it has policemen that's behind it in the corner there to try and catch you. And a few people got tickets there already. But there's one thing, not knowing the law, but when a law comes into effect, you are now condemned by the law. And that is the same with our lives. The fact that the law condemns us, right? And we couldn't do anything when we sin. So what used to happen, what used to happen is that you can't make atonement for your sins. So your sins used to be piling on. So in order for you to come out of that, somebody who never broke the law could offer themselves to atone for you. Problem we had is that on earth no one could have done that because all had sinned. So that's why God had to intervene and Jesus Christ came. So he's explaining the whole gospel message here, right? And he's reminding them of the fact of what and how they reached to where they are, right? So just to continue, I went off track there, sorry. Jesus is the one who sacrificed and made this happen. So he is central for salvation to begin with. Now, keep in mind, this letter is written to counter false teaching among the Colossians. They taught that things other than Christ's sacrifice will need it to achieve and maintain salvation. So these false teachers were telling them, hey, it's not Christ alone, it's Christ and other things, or a new version. Right? We have to be so careful with new versions now, right? Paul responds by putting Christ and his sacrifice as the only thing that produces salvation, redemption, and forgiveness, and nothing more or less. So Paul is saying, hear this. Christ and his sacrifice is the only thing that saves you. Redemption and forgiveness and nothing less or nothing more. There's no need for angels. There's no need for remembering the Jewish laws. Those things condemn you. They don't save you, right? Christ, right? So he's starting his, well, he's continuing his defense as he goes down here, right? Everybody good with that so far? So we reach 14, and we see now where he's making the case that Christ is central to your salvation, and Christ is the one who would have sacrificed his life for you to redeem you or to bring you from the state you was in into a state in which you are acceptable in God's eye. Right? So let's continue.